Hi, friends. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Katie. And welcome to Okay, but Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Welcome to our Once Upon a Time Season 3 finale special. Today we're recapping and chatting about the final 2 episodes of Once Upon a Time Season 3, Episode 321, Snow Drifts, and Episode 322, There's No Place Like Home. Both episodes aired on May 11th, 2014, so this is the first 2-part finale that actually aired as a 2-part finale. It was 2 hours for the content. This is the first time, because last time they called it a 2-part finale, but it aired a week apart, and then the time before that it wasn't a 2-part finale. We just made it one because it worked out better because of our schedule. But Snow Drifts was written by David H. Goodman and Robert Hull and was directed by Ron Underwood. And There's No Place Like Home was written by our showrunners, Eddie and Adam, and was directed by Ralph Hamaker. Now, so we're going to do this a little differently than the last couple of 2-part finales, because this one I felt it made more sense to just kind of talk about the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one, since it is the first 2-part finale, 2-hour event, it's more like a 2-hour-long episode rather than being 2 separate episodes. So this is just a synopsis for the entire finale. You're welcome. With the Wicked Witch defeated, our heroes can now celebrate the birth of Snow and Charming's son. Despite this happiness, Emma is still insistent that she wants to go back to New York with Henry. Once everyone sees that Selena's time portal was opened, Emma and Hook go to investigate, accidentally getting sucked in. Because portals take you to where you think of, and the last story they all read together was Snow and Charming falling in love, Emma and Killian are thrust back into the Enchanted Forest just in time to interrupt her parents' first meeting. They realize that the timeline has been altered because pages in the storybook that used to show Snow and Charming's story are now blank. They enact the help of the Dark One to get them back to their right time and devise a plan that will set everything as it was. Hook asks Snow to steal Charming's ring from the castle during his engagement ball, and Hook and Emma attend in disguise to make sure that everything goes as it's supposed to. Snow almost gets away, dropping the ring in the process, but when Regina shows up at the ball, Emma is captured for helping Snow escape, and now Hook has to work with our heroes to get Emma back, and the Charmings back on track. After Charming captures Snow, they work with Hook and Red to help Emma escape the Queen's dungeon. While everyone else is off to get Emma, who took the other prisoner with her in an attempt to be helpful, Snow attempts to kill the Queen with her dark fairy dust. She's captured and sentenced to death by fireball, but escapes at the last second, using the dark fairy dust on herself. When she's returned to her human form by the blue fairy, Emma is relieved and hugs her, only to have Snow look right through her, because she doesn't know who she is. It's then that Emma realizes that she's been running for too long, and she's finally found her home and her family. Now she'll stop at nothing to get everyone back where they belong. The next morning, Snow sneaks away with David's jewels and is attacked on the troll bridge. Emma and Hook run to help them, but they quickly realize that they don't need their help. Their story is back as it was supposed to, and Emma and Hook, with the mystery woman Emma found in the Queen's dungeon in tow, are able to use a wand to recreate the time portal and get themselves back to Storybrooke. It's not quite time for a happy ending. As Rumple and Belle say their wedding vows, Emma brings the new woman over to Regina to prove that Regina is a changed woman, only for it to be revealed that this woman Emma brought back is Marion, Robin's wife, once again getting in the way of Regina's happiness. And on the edge of town, something else unexpected came back with Emma and Hook. An urn from the Dark One's vault came as well, and when it's opened, a new threat may soon loom on the horizon for our heroes.
Oh, I have thoughts on that. Oh,
we'll talk about that at the end. We'll try and stay in order. We're going to talk about that at the end, because that plays into my what I'm looking forward to you seeing most kind of thing. But
I was supposed to tell you those. I did not write those down, but that's okay. I can answer that easily.
Okay, that's fine. So it's been a long day. Yeah. So this episode, I was going to say this is like the first couple of episodes where there's no real flashback, because there really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have the very brief headers at the beginning of each episode, but like, I wouldn't qualify that as like there being a dual timeline. This is one timeline, just all over the fucking place.
Oh yeah, you're seeing scenes you've already seen, but then you're also seeing new angles and new things, and you're just kind of sitting there like, okay. I found it very interesting the way they did, but I love they start off with a Mickey.
I forgot. I was like, the Mickey Mouse jump scare. Like, that's the opposite.
That's
of
what it felt like.
It's the opposite of a hidden Mickey. It's right in your face.
It's right in your face. And then, of course, the second note I wrote down out of all of this, the second thing I wrote down in all caps was "Let Regina stay happy."
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Nope.
I also wrote down she looks so happy. There's apparently supposedly a footer at the end of that scene that I don't know how accurate this is. I'll link the video that I'm talking about in the show notes. But from the 100th episode celebration from season 5, Colin for some reason was doing like red carpet interviews for one of the people with it.
Okay.
Based off the video, they all look mildly tipsy. But there's a video of him and Sean, and he was asking him what one of his favorite Regina Robin scenes is, and Lana walks over and they say this scene, the one in the office, and then Lana goes like, we were having such a good time, and then Colin walked in, so like we don't see that, so like there's clearly an ending to that scene that we are unaware of.
Okay, but I need the ending to that scene.
But it's also just they were all very mildly tipsy, because at one point Colin just says, I'm very nervous talking to you because you're so dreamy, to Sean, I think.
I was about to be like, oh, but to have Colin say that to you, but of course he's saying it to
Sean McGuire.
to Sean. Like, not to anybody else. Just that makes complete sense.
That's who he was interviewing at the time.
I love that. I wrote that dagger isn't dangerous because it's fake. Like, of course he's like, yeah, no, you're fine. Keep the dagger. Like the one thing that he's freaked out over multiple times not being able to find or keep safe.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, that's already a red flag. So let's happy to see Ruby as well.
No, yeah. I loved their way of showing you who you were going to be seeing in our return to these earlier parts of the timeline by dropping these side characters in Storybrooke that we haven't seen
in ages.
Years. Like, you got Ruby, you've got Abigail out of nowhere. I was like, wait, we haven't seen Ruby, we've seen more recently, but we haven't seen Catherine since the end of season 1. Like,
no.
Oh, that's how you know we're going to that point.
And then I loved, like, you know, of course, I'm like, see, Emma, you can't leave. Like, once again, Emma pissing me off. And once again, Killian telling her, you can't just leave. Like, I love that it's constantly Killian telling her to. Because he seems to be her voice of reason lately. And I think it's really funny that, like, her little voice is a pirate. Like, the man trying to, like, actually have her make good decisions is a pirate. And I love that.
Yeah.
And then my dumbass moment, I went, oh, Gold forgot about the cameras. And then I wrote, oh, wait, he can do magic.
Stupid Betamax. Like, to be fair, their outdated technology works to his benefit. They do glitch like that. But
they really do.
I love David's stupid Betamax. Because that's real old.
And then, of course, I'm just like, Emma, why? Just Emma being Emma. In this episode, and I got really excited when I saw when they were and everything. I was like, all right, I'm here for this. This is actually really cool. I'm really excited. I got really, really excited going into the Marty McHugh.
Yeah, I told you, Marty McHugh.
Is he some sort of wizard? It was perfect.
And
I went, oh, fantasy Emma.
Well, it's like Killian, the smart guy. He knows that Emma needs better clothes. Because red leather jackets don't come into vogue here, well, ever.
And then, of course, right after that, I wrote, of course Emma altered time. Of course she did.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this wouldn't be, like, there's no episode if they don't fuck something up. Our burger of the week for our finale is, I combined the 2 episode titles, it's the There's No Place Like Snow Burger, comes with a fucked up timeline.
It is, and the whole time I'm like, all right, where's my paradox? Like, I'm waiting for it to happen. But I really did love that. Let's just say we buried the hatchet. Yes. But why not in your skull? That.
Yep.
Perfect. Fucking perfection.
It makes sense.
I mean, seriously, I think I rewinded that a couple of times. So just like watching the joy in his, like, he had so much, skull. Like, it was so good. Thank you, Robert Carlyle. I can now watch that on repeat.
Yeah, there you go.
Fucking perfect.
At
a moment that I just wrote, Emma, shut the fuck up. Like, apparently I have a problem. Like, I really don't like Emma right now.
She's incapable of shutting up, basically. I mean, we see that that's the case in this episode, is she talks way too much.
She does not, like, I feel like she learned some lessons going back in time.
You know?
You would hope.
I would hope that's the case.
A mother would hope. One
would hope.
I just have this, I just went, oh, this is hilarious, because I'm having a great time, like, watching Emma be stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's usually her dad.
No, this is fair.
I did put, Emma's getting her fairy tale experience, and I love it, because she is. because like that, I think that was her disconnect.
Mhm.
And then, of course, Rumble had the best lines in this. He's like, I mean, it's a miracle the timeline hasn't imploded already. Amateurs. Like,
Yeah.
so many great lines.
He's not wrong.
Leia?
Yeah, she didn't really try that hard.
No.
Neither did the writers on that. I'll give the writers this.
Mhm.
According to the wiki, which this may have been pulled from the commentary that I did not have access to, we now learned it's apparently Blu-ray exclusive, not a DVD exclusive. Bleh. Um, Apparently the creators had said multiple times that they always viewed Captain Hook as their version of Han Solo,
But I see it.
which is why Princess Leia makes sense.
It was a choice. It was great. I'm with
It's
Henry
a
on it.
choice.
It was funny. And then I just went, "Oh, hey Neil."
Yeah.
Like into the second episode, I'm like, "Oh, hey Neil,"
Mm-hmm.
because it's Neil.
It's Neil.
Of course, this is where we really very much figure out that she's actually dealing with her grief. Like all of
Yeah.
this is truly just Emma dealing with her grief over losing him. But
Yeah.
but she's getting over her grief while she's falling in love with this guy, and that's
Yeah.
really funny to me. One,
Mm-hmm.
there is not much of a time between these two relationships.
No, there isn't. Well, because Neil dies, and then I mean,
I mean, she has that year, I
figure
know, but
but even still, but Neil died. She sees him die within the
Mhm.
last couple of weeks because I would really say this bit of the season, these last 12 episodes, is less than a month
Okay, that
because
makes sense.
they make a point of saying that like Snow is like 8-9 months pregnant when we get back to Storybrooke.
Like she felt like, I mean, I know she was already kind of falling for
Mm-hmm.
Killian, but there was no time
No, so like
between
I
that.
would say 2 weeks
Yeah,
at max.
max. I wrote get a room. Who knows who for? It's actually I was actually towards like Charming and Snow, like already
Yeah.
flirting, and then their
Mm-hmm.
child that they don't know is their child, just kind of chilling, like watching my parents flirt. This
Mm-hmm.
is leads to my creation. Like that's gotta be awkward.
Yeah, a little bit.
I love like Hook and Rumple had the best lines. 100%. Because then you just have, what the hell are you doing? You're depriving me of a dashing rescue. Sorry, but the only one who saves me is me. I like that. I do like that.
No, absolutely. I have my ever iconic Emma Swan. You put that prisoner back where she came from, or so help me.
Yes.
Because, like, she's the one that even said when Hook punches himself, she's like, "How is that not going to have consequences? How is
Mhm.
taking someone out of where they're supposed to be not going to have consequences?"
No, all of it has consequences.
All of it does.
All of it. Because then after that, I wrote in caps, paradox.
No, exactly. But like, unfortunately, Regina's the one that pays the price of the paradox.
Of course she is, because we can't let Regina be happy, and that's my
No.
issue.
Yeah.
Because of course, right after that, I'm like, we are in a paradox. Emma wouldn't exist. You shouldn't like, because I picked up on that immediately, right before
Yeah.
these two idiots finally put two and two together. I'm already sitting there like, okay, the moment that happened, I was like, she should not exist.
No, exactly.
So I
Like, which
knew
is
immediately, like,
that she's not dead.
Snow's alive.
It's a thing of viewing experience changes stakes, obviously. Like, and we're smarter than your average adult, I would say. We're smart people. But it's just even like not even just the watching it later in life or watching it like a second time, it changes the stakes. Like, it just comes down to how television works. Without knowing that she would be in multiple seasons, it's very clear from the beginning that she's not dead. It's dramatic, it's sad, but she's not dead.
Because the moment Snow dies, Emma would cease to exist.
Exactly.
Killian's memories would no longer exist of her. Like, because
Mhm.
that's where it does get to me with a lot of things. You have like this time bubble that they tend to do whenever they do like a time episode where they're like, oh,
Yeah.
the people that are involved, they remember. When in reality, that's not what would happen. The moment like the person ceased to exist and you cease, like those people wouldn't remember you. You've been erased from the timeline. There would be
Exactly.
no memory on top of that.
Mhm.
So we've had the discussions of time travel on here before. I'm not going to get
Yeah.
all the way into it again, but if you are,
I have my
I would
own.
assume if you're to this point, you've been listening to this for a while, to us
Yeah.
ramble
About
for over a year now.
Mhm.
And we know my feelings,
Yeah. Your Phillians.
my feelings on time travel in media,
Yeah.
because it's impossible to get right.
And I would say Once Upon a Time is in a space that they did not get it right
No.
because they fundamentally changed things, but also kept everything the way it was meant to go. Like, yes, the start and end point of Emma and
Mhm.
Killian being there is the same. But the only thing that changed is everyone's memories in the storybook.
Yep.
Despite how much stuff changed. That's just like there's two like given the fact that this show so many episodes get changed and like episode titles get changed in other languages to the butterfly effect,
Mhm.
there is no ripple effect to this section being fundamentally changed.
Yeah.
So like you can't do both. Either everything's changed forever
Mhm.
or you change nothing and you being there is how it was always supposed to be.
Yep.
You can't
Because
have it
her
both ways.
snapping that like the branch,
Uh-huh. That changes
that
everything.
alone changed everything. And yes, oh, go and fix it. I'm sorry, you can't fix changed history. Like it's not.
No.
It's
The
a new.
only
It's still a new timeline.
The only thing they got right about this was the point that they come back is the exact point they left because her phone's still ringing.
Yep, it's the only thing.
Yep.
And then we go into wonderful. Anyone fluent in bug?
Mm-hmm.
So we're just sticking with kidnapping.
Yes. They kidnap
Mm.
Marion.
And then I got really mad. So she can just summon a portal.
Yeah, this is something that, well, the wand gets dropped off. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't go with them. So I also wrote this down, like this basically means that because she's been through a time portal, she can just summon a time portal whenever she wants. She would need that specific wand, which is the Black Fairy's wand.
Mhm.
But we're gonna see a different wand that for good reason can summon portals.
Yeah,
But it's not Emma.
this portal stuff, like, I get it, but y'all gotta work on, like, I wanna be like, "You gotta work on this," but it's
We're
over. I can't.
we're
I'm
very
just
next season, especially season 4, is gonna be we might want to keep a tally of how many times you or I say portals are hard to come by unless the plot dictates otherwise.
honestly, I'm
Because next season
losing my
it's gonna be
mind.
a thing.
Because, like, because it bugged me because Zelina went through so much work, so much sacrifice. It took her years.
Decades.
It took her forever to achieve this spell. And you're telling me that she can, because she's gone through it, she can do it now.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that.
I don't like it
No,
either.
no,
Nope.
no. I had this moment. I just went, Henry, my uncle, is named after my dad.
Yeah, babe. So this was the thing that I always said that people like hear Neil and apparently never use context clues because they hear Neil when clearly in reference to the baby and somehow have taken that to mean adult Neil was her brother and therefore Rumpel is her father.
But that doesn't
Context
make
clues.
sense.
You need context clues. And they're not ambiguous. They're very
But
straightforward. And also Neil is dead.
yeah, that's where I'm
Adult
at with
Neil
this.
is
I'm like,
dead.
what do you mean? Once we're past this point,
There's no
Neil,
more. Well, we're
like
gonna see
they'll tell us if they mean Big Neil, who's dead.
exactly.
They'll say that.
We're gonna see adult Neil once for the rest of the show.
And I can only assume where that'll be.
Just briefly.
Yeah.
That's it. And so any other time that they say the word Neil, it's very easy to assume it's the baby.
But like, cause yeah, like if this guy's dead, then yeah, oh my god.
Yes, I mean, like, I try to remember myself. So a lot of the fans of the show are younger, but I don't know. Some things I just can't wrap
Not
my
that.
head around. It's yeah, but yeah, I get the idea. I get the naming him after a hero, and honestly, here's my thing. I would be less mad about naming the baby after that person if they'd named him Balefire.
I would have liked it better, but I guess they went with Neil because that's Neil's chosen name.
It's a more modern name, I
Yeah.
think, is probably where it was going. But like, because like a lot of the conversation they were having was like, oh, like Leopold, and that's why they were saying that like that's not a good. It's people make fun.
Leo
Kids will
is
make fun
such
of
a
him.
cute name, though.
Leo was a very cute name, but
That's coming from a Charmed fan, but still.
but still, like, I feel like the decision to naming him after a hero, I still think would have been less weird if they'd picked Balefire over Neil, because while Neil was the more recent name, the more modern name, that's still the name of the man who abandoned their daughter in jail.
I also wrote, he traded the Jolly Roger for Emma. Marry him now.
You and I have two very different reactions to that.
It's from the standpoint of a pirate. Like,
No, I
pirates
know.
don't do that.
No, I'm aware, and I get that You Traded Your Ship for Me is romantic. I get why it's
Mhm.
romantic, but it plays into what we'll see if my opinion shifts as we watch this now, because I've been watching them more through kind of like how
Yeah.
I think you're gonna feel about things. Because my viewpoint for a lot of the rest of I love their relationship in parts.
Okay.
Um, but for a good chunk of it, especially in the beginning, a lot of how they write, especially Hook, not as much Emma, but especially Hook, they really sanitize his character so the two of them fit better together.
Ooh.
It's a lot of him trying to be a hero. There's a thing in I think 404 that I just laugh at because it makes no fucking sense. But his reaction to something is the world's worst placebo effect is the way that I can describe it.
Okay.
You'll understand what I mean when we get there. But it's just I get it as a grand gesture. I think not I wrote down I think it's too far, but it's just it plays into that thing that I say a lot about how they kind of carve off pieces of him so that like they fit better together. And I
Okay. So this is
don't
like the kind of
really
the beginning of it?
yeah, and it's mostly just season 4, I feel like, where that happens. By season 5, I think they have a better balance of things, but that this feels like the beginning of that, of him giving up too many pieces of himself to be what he thinks she wants.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Alright, interesting.
But I see it as a romance reader, a grand gesture. I
Yeah.
totally get it. I totally get it.
See, this is, like, the real start for me. So this is but I'm
Yeah.
watching this as a woman who's about to be 31 years old. So it's like,
Mhm.
I see that. I definitely see that the romantic gesture of that. I also
Yeah.
see, like, the love side of it where he is giving a part of himself, but if
Yeah.
that continues to happen, I do feel like that is a problem, like,
Yeah.
because that's a really big gesture. Yes, big
Mhm.
gestures are normal, like, that's not a bad thing to have a big gesture,
Yeah.
but if you do it too much, yeah. Okay. Love
Yeah.
to see how I feel about that as it happens.
Exactly. That's a case of I know the trajectory, I've seen it, and we'll see if my opinion changes this time. Like maybe
Yeah.
I've just been seeing it too harshly in the past, and I maybe I'm more forgiving now. We won't know until we watch it.
It's also a very straight relationship, which
It's
usually I do better with in TV than I do with books, so
I mean, it is, but I mean, and this is all canonical. Obviously,
yeah.
what I'm about to say is more headcanon. It feels like the straight passing relationship of two bisexual people.
See, but I love that.
Because the two of them are very bisexual code.
Yeah.
Like Killian especially. I mean Colin too, but
Colin knows this though.
yeah, he's aware of this. But like Emma and Killian are both I would say bisexual coded characters, even though neither of them are.
Yeah.
But as
Pirate.
pirate, yeah, this is true. We don't
You'd
know
be
what happened.
surprised.
We don't know what happened in those centuries he spent in Neverland. So,
I
because he
mean
was there for like 200 years.
it's like mermaid, men. Both?
Both is good.
Both is good. That's my answer to everything though. Only for me that didn't go into all caps. No, no, no. I thought I had more time. Don't marry Rumple. I thought I had more time. I thought I was like, all right, they're engaged. I can live with this. They're fucking engaged. I can deal with that. No, they elope.
I
What
thought
the
I had
fuck?
more time.
I thought I had more time.
No, you didn't.
No, no. These two elope, and I'm having to see her. And they're just like, Belle, you're naming every reason why you should not be with
Oh, I
them.
wrote down her vows.
Her vows. She keeps saying these words, and I'm like,
I wrote down both of them.
are you high? Are you okay? Are you begging somebody to help you in your own vows? Like, she keeps going on and saying these things. Oh, you're not like that is weak, all these things. And I'm just like, this is the reason to not be with him.
Yeah, because what she says is, Rumpelstiltskin, this thing we have, it's never been easy. I've lost you so many times. I've lost you to darkness, to weakness, and finally to death. But now I realize that I have not spent my life losing you. I've spent my life finding you, which I fucking hate.
I hate
Um,
that.
and that was my commentary, not hers. Just not Belle's. Um, and then Gold says, Belle, when we met, I wasn't just unloved and unloving. I was an enemy of love. Love had only brought me pain. My walls were up. But you broke them down. You brought me home. You brought light into my life and chased away all the darkness. And I vow
That's
to you, I will
no.
It's not good. And
It's
I
not
vow to you,
good.
I will never forget I will never forget the distance, who I was and what I am. I owe more to you than I can ever say. How can you see the man behind the monster? How you can see the man behind the monster, I will never know. And then I cut out a couple of bits, but then she ends it with, sometimes the best book has the dustiest jacket, and sometimes the best teacup is chipped. I love that line.
Just that line.
Just that one. Because essentially, she lists all the reasons why they've not been able to be together, and then he's the kind of man that the things he loves most about Belle is what she does for him.
Uh-huh. It's like the writers really were like, okay, we're going to do Beauty and the Beast this way in our story, but
Yeah.
we're going to go heavy with the Stockholm Syndrome.
That's what they picked. That's what they picked.
They picked the Stockholm Syndrome and they ran with it. And I hate it more than anything else. Because I know a lot of people, like, their argument against Beauty and the Beast is the Stockholm Syndrome, which I have issues with because, yes, it
Yeah.
is. But at the same time, there's
It can
nuance
be done.
to it.
It can be done well. Stockholm
Yes.
Stockholm syndrome can't be really done well, but
No, don't do that well. That's a bad
don't,
idea.
That's a bad idea. What I did watch one of the little featurettes on the DVD, and I will say this: when it comes to this relationship, Rumbell specifically, the writers and Emily especially are aware of how fucked up it is.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought they
They're
all thought this was
aware,
normal. I'm like, this
but
is horrible.
no, they're aware of how unhealthy it is, because that's why they keep showing them, like, the two of them really don't stay happy until, like,
Yeah.
they are in many, many ups and downs the entirety of the show. So, like, you're very close to her finally giving him what he deserves. Like, at the end of 4A, you will see Belle finally set up for herself.
Fine. Like, that's too long, though, because I really hate that we have this character that is seen outside of, like, just the character herself in any iteration is seen as a bookish girl, an intelligent woman. And she falls for this shit.
But I
And
will say this, because us as readers, I think I said this about something else recently.
Yeah.
Like, our generation likes to think we're the smartest people, but we fall for things all the time.
no, we do.
Like, and especially readers, I would say the reader community thinks we're really, really smart. We would never fall for any of this. We do.
No, we
all
fall
the
for
time.
stupid shit all the time.
Yeah. So it's like we want to believe, especially people like, oh, she reads adventure books, she reads romance, she reads all these things. She should be able to see these patterns. No, she can't. That's normal.
No.
That's human.
It is. I think it's, for me, it's the amount of times that it happens. It's too much.
It's also a case of we're watching it from an outside perspective, so we see all the truths as they happen. And you're like, how do you keep... And to be fair, I say this about all the characters. How do they keep falling for Rumpelstiltskin and everything that he does and says? Because he proves time and time again that he should not be trusted. But it's...
I think that's my problem, is that he's proven himself so much to Belle. She says it in her own vows of why they shouldn't be together, and she still does it. And I'm like, love is not that strong to me.
No.
Love is powerful. Love is very strong. It's not powerful enough to keep me with somebody who is that horrible.
I say this all the time about the TV show Love is Blind, because, and I have a point, I promise.
I've never watched it.
So, I mean, the premise of Love is Blind is that they meet in these pods and they talk and they fall in love without ever seeing each other. And then they have like a very condensed timeline where they go on a trip, they come home, they settle into life together, and then they have to have a wedding, and they decide at the altar, will they get married or not?
Oh God, no, thank you.
But it's a very condensed timeline. And I say this all the time because a lot of people don't end up going through with the wedding. Like, a lot of people at the altar decide that they're not going to do this. Because I say this all the time. The show proves you can fall in love without ever seeing somebody or without seeing the whole part of them. You can definitely do that. And I say this every single season. Love is blind. Love is not stupid.
And she's been shown enough times, in my opinion, that this shouldn't be a continuation.
Exactly.
Like, she should have already, like, the amount of stuff he's done already. Like, I know that's where the Stockholm Syndrome comes in. And, like, that's actually what's happening here. And it really sucks. And I get they're going for that. But I really hate it. I just want, like I've always said, since we started this podcast, I have yet to read a Beauty and the Beast retelling that I enjoy. Because they always lean so heavy into the Stockholm Syndrome. And I would like to see it done well.
Yeah.
I want the Beast to get his own comeuppance. And he doesn't. And wait, that's Marion.
Marion. That was Marion. It is the same actor from
Okay.
Lacey.
It's been so long since I've seen her.
It's the same woman from Lacey.
It didn't click until they said it because it's been so long.
She's also very far away, so like unless you're
Yeah.
looking for her, you wouldn't recognize it.
My last note is that Elsa in a jar?
Yes, it is Elsa in a jar.
I love that it's Rumpelstiltskin going, I keep everything that it's too dark or powerful
Mm-hmm.
down here locked away. I want to know why Rumpel's scared of Elsa. I need to know why, and I cannot wait for
I'm
this.
not. I'm gonna not. I was gonna say something, but I'm intentionally not because it's Elsa and the urn itself, and there's a whole.
Okay,
You're gonna see his involvement in that story unfold in season 4.
I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for
I
that.
will also say this. I feel like the person who does the extra, the actor that they have to do Elsa walking away, she gets the saunter really well
She
of the
does.
animated, but as far as I know, it's not the same actor who ends up
Mm.
playing her. But they also give her a new dress that I personally like better. The Elsa dress is very contentious in the fandom. Some people don't like it, some people don't. And like people, same with all the Frozen costumes, they think like they have their own issues with it. And I'll go on a rant about that probably in like one in 401 or 402. But I personally love the Elsa costume, both here and the new one that they give her. I think it's all
Okay,
beautifully done. I think all the costumes are like
I'll
there's
have to wait and see.
when I hate a costume, I'll tell you. It's
Oh
very
my,
rare. It's very rare though. So,
gotcha.
but yep, that was Elsa. All right, let's do some fun facts for our finale. Apparently, at a fan convention in 2017, when asked what his most awkward scene with Jennifer Morrison was, Colin picked the scene where where Hook knocks himself out.
Hmm.
Because apparently the scene was filmed with Colin and his stunt double, and his stunt double had to act out a lot of the actions. So basically, his phrasing was, "He had to kiss her, I had to kiss her," and then apparently there's a shot where you can actually see that like the Hook that's walking is the stunt double.
That's great.
But there's multiple times in this series where one actor has to kiss multiple people for the sake of a take. It's just funny how that keeps working out.
Everyone's just making out.
Everyone's just making out. It's fine. But this finale apparently was Jen and Colin's favorite episodes to film because
Oh.
it's a lot of the two of them together. It's a lot of work for the two of their characters. So I can see that's really satisfying. I think they would probably also say the musical episode, but that one also has its own challenges besides what just
Hmm.
happens in the episode. So um, apparently, the flashback scene where Neil and Emma break into the fairground was originally scripted to be them breaking in through like a gate, just get like a nice view of Portland at night. But the
Hmm.
production team found an abandoned amusement park, and they felt that Neil showing this kind of place to Emma was something that the character would do, like kind of
Yeah,
sneaking into a place when it's broken down and all that stuff. So, and I don't disagree because
it was great.
it's for as much as I didn't care about his inclusion in the episode, it's nice to see him and
Yeah,
nice to see that that does fit the character very well.
yeah, I have to agree.
We were deprived of Jamie Dornan. They reached out to him to see if he would reprise Graham for this episode because it makes sense he'd be there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to his filming schedule for 50 Shades of Grey, he could not do it.
Oh, ew! Come on, this would have been better.
I know. Apparently, he would have spotted Emma in the Evil Queen's dungeon, and Emma would have felt tempted to reach out to him. That was the plan to have him involved. But
That would have
leave
been
him
great with Killian, though. Oh
because he doesn't know about Graham really.
no.
The scene where Snow White is trapped in the tent, so the part that's half recovered footage, half new footage.
Hmm.
Um, in order to get the close-ups on her in the net, apparently it's just a net around her with her sitting on a chair, which makes sense. She's 9 months, she's like 7, 8
Yeah.
months pregnant at that point. Like we're clearly not raising her off the ground. And I clock this every time I watch this also. The scene right before Snow goes, she takes his canteen and then she runs away towards the troll bridge.
Yeah.
There's a faraway shot of her walking toward him. It's very like it's her stunt double. Like they didn't even like she's not turned away. She's facing the camera.
Oh my
And it's
god.
very clearly her stunt double who got a lot of work in this episode because obviously Ginny's 7 months pregnant. She's not doing all of this. But as I'm like, you didn't even try to hide that it was the stunt double
Not even.
at all. But this is my favorite because I love these little things and how they get around this. And it's ironic what they picked too. So they wanted to keep Elsa being that thing at the end a secret. So it wasn't in the script at all. So even
Oh,
like the actors didn't know until this episode aired, I would assume. So in order
they
to
just
keep
put
that,
the prop in the room.
no, there's like only the people that knew, I guess, were people that were filming.
Wow.
So in order to keep that a secret, uh, the script actually had a different ending where a version of the sorcerer's hat comes through versus the urn. So since everyone gets the script, they're
Oh.
gonna see that. But only Eddie, Adam, and the people who were filming that last little bit knew that it was going to be Elsa, which I think that's really cool.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah. So this might make it a little more condensed than our usual
Yeah.
method, but like not by a whole. Like, this episode just might not be an hour and a half, but it'll definitely be over an hour. Um,
Of course, we're already at 40
37.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. So Abby Ross is the actor who plays young Emma in that first flashback, and she's such a good double for Jen, like for a
Mhm.
younger version of her, because we're gonna see her and we're gonna see McKenna Grace is gonna play even younger Emma between the ages of like 5 and 10.
Yeah.
So Abby Ross is more or less between the ages of, we'll see her between about the ages of like 11 to, so I'd say this is probably like 11, 12 to maybe 15. What's unfortunate is basically the way they've done the timeline with Emma's flashbacks, the way we see them, Abby Ross at her oldest, I think we're going to see it that's got to be in 419, I would assume. I think, if I'm remembering flashbacks correctly. 419 is going to be Abby Ross at her oldest, at Emma's oldest, like 15, 16. Basically meaning that like,
Okay.
but then the next time we see Emma in a flashback is Tallahassee, which is Jennifer Morrison. So like, there's not a lot of
Yeah.
time for those two to become the same person, but it's not great. But
You do what
um,
you can.
yeah, but she
Because
does
you
a
can't
great.
really pass Jennifer Morrison off as 16.
No, despite how much they tried with just putting her in a ponytail and glasses. But the picnic scene, there's a lot of growth for Regina in that scene, not just in
Mhm.
telling Robin that she knew the whole time that he was meant to be her soulmate. But what she says to him is, "My first love, Daniel, was killed because of me, because he loved me." Which, thinking that now putting the blame on herself, that's a very heavy thing to carry around, is that he was killed because he loved me.
Mhm.
But this is also the first time that she has brought up Daniel's death and not blamed it on Snow.
That's growth.
That's a lot of growth. Like, technically speaking, better growth would be blaming her mother. But
Yeah.
that we still have our cognitive dissonance. I get it.
Growth
So
is
like,
growth.
growth is growth, but it's the fact of she's stopped blaming Snow, because what we hear in 120 specifically is, she ripped his heart out because of you, because you couldn't listen to me. She's been holding on to that it's always been Snow's fault the entire time. And this is the first
Mhm.
time she says, because of me. He died because he loved me.
Yeah.
And like, it's heavy and it's sad and it's heartbreaking, but so much growth in that, because she's now realizing, or she's at least come to the conclusion finally, that at least it wasn't a 10-year-old's fault.
Which makes sense.
It just took 30 years. I did like the little welcome to the royal baby chalkboard in the diner,
Mhm.
that the one that normally says that. But here's the thing again, like, their thing of calling this a coronation ceremony, which it is what it is. The act of telling the community your child's name at a ceremony is another instance of Judaism being baked into the makeup
Oh,
of the
that's a
show.
thing?
Baby naming. So here's the thing. So with
Jewish
children,
lesson.
Jewish lesson. So for Jewish children, usually what you end up doing, for people that are religious at all, you tell the community the child's name. For a boy, at their bris, and for a girl, they just have a baby naming ceremony. It's
Mhm.
8th day of life. You tell the community the child's name, and they can be recognized in the community. Unfortunately for the boys, that it also involves circumcision. But
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, but again, having a specific ceremony to do that is Judaism. However, I loved Emma's line of, "You're not going to hold him out in front of the clock tower like the Lion King, are you?" Considering that's almost exactly what they did with Regina Cora in The Miller's Daughter, is them like
Yep.
Lion King holding her out in front of the crowd, which is just funny.
Which means they were gonna do it, but then they're like, no, maybe we shouldn't."
Yeah. I liked the banter when they were telling like the story and everything. Like, they say about Snow's armed robbery. I wasn't armed except with a rock. I still have the scar, which healed. Like, it's.
It's great.
But what's funny is the next time they bring up this story, since now what she hits him with has changed. At first it
Mhm.
was a rock. Now it's like the trinket box. Um, what Charming is going to say very specifically is, when I first met her, she hit me in the face. Not with anything, because either the writers couldn't remember what it was or they just figured, let's not say anything at all.
Let's not mess up and have the whole fandom against us again.
Exactly. They just said,
Which
she
seems
hit
to
me in the
keep
face.
happening. Like every time we go through something, you'll be like, yeah, well, the fan base, no one seems happy with what we're watching.
It's a case of, they're very smart writers, but they look at, and they're very smart when it comes to the whole picture, which is, and it's a very specific, and most people, I would say, are either whole picture oriented or detail oriented. It's hard to do both. You have to really teach yourself to have a skill for both. And being a writer kind of requires both.
Yeah.
And it seems like, and maybe this is a case of what happens when you have a team of writers working. You should have one person at the helm. Like, the showrunners are supposed to kind of keep everything going, because TV is a showrunner's writer's medium, basically. Like, it's a case of, I feel like they were missing that detail orientedness, and they kind of figured, the fandom won't notice, but the fandom kept noticing.
Yeah.
Because this is also, I think, in that generation where, like, people that were super, super detailed, like, I'm not even talking about like I know Star Trek people and Star Wars people and fandom for decades have been this detail oriented. But in the case of Once Upon a Time was on that cusp of when streaming was starting to be a thing. People are rewatching things over and over and over again. Those small details come out more easily.
Yeah.
So you have more people noticing these things. It's not the super hyper fans. It's anyone watching your show.
Yeah.
So it's an unfortunate case for them. But yeah, this was another part with the dagger that I didn't like, about her thinking, Belle thinking she had the dagger. It allows Rumple to continue to use Belle as his moral compass. He said she would curb any homicidal tendencies. Like, his excuse is that I can't do bad things because Belle wouldn't let me. You should want to not do bad things because that's the right thing to do, not because your wife has a dagger that tells you can't.
Ugh, wife. Ugh.
So,
but so much better.
I know, but Regina looks so sad that she thought Zelena would rather kill herself than be her sister.
That was really sad.
That's because that's what she thinks, and it's just not. It's not the case, unfortunately, and she won't learn that for a long time. And when she does see her sister again, oh boy, that's gonna be fun. I love Zelena. The way they bring her back, it's just, there's parts of it. People claim that they heard the showrunners say, or even Beck say, that it was planned from the beginning, but I see things
differently.
I'm like, just with my analysis, I'm like, but if that was the case, this, like, it just wouldn't make a lot of sense. There's just stuff that I'm like, this feels like that made the most sense to you. Like, you wrote this season and then decided next season, oh, that's how we could get her back.
Yeah.
That's how
this
it feels.
Wasn't planned all along. Y'all just figured out the best way of doing it, in your opinions.
It feels like it was planned from the beginning of season 4, not the end of season 3.
That makes sense.
That's a very distinct difference.
I see that. Okay.
Because I can say I definitely see more of it in more of like the teasers and more of like the Easter eggs in the beginning of season 4. So yeah, I would say that it feels like it was planned from the beginning of season 4, not from as soon as we think she died.
Okay.
That's a very distinct difference. Okay, I'm glad we got there. Because what people say is that the showrunner said they had it planned all along. I'm like, I don't think so. I think you're lying to me. Why are you lying to me?
Because they can.
Yeah. But this portal went through space and time.
It
did. But this is something
you're trying to make this episode an hour and a half. I'm just saying. You're trying.
I'm not trying. I'm just talking. There's a lot to talk about. But the production team, they do this a lot. Emma's contact photo for David is like not a photo she would have taken or he would have taken. And the show does this a lot in that they take screenshots of their own show and pawn them off as photos. I'm like, because we're going to see that even in the next season. And I'm like, how would you have gotten this photo? It can't exist.
There's no way. Like, it was interesting. I was like, this is like a very interesting profile picture.
But yes, yeah, they do that multiple times with the photos. It's like, that's not a you need to really think about, like, in your world, would this photo exist?
And like,
usually
but
no.
they do it anyways. They do what they got to do.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, can we send just like a funny picture? They could have had like the actors send in just funny selfies, and that would have
And
been hilarious.
I promise you, Josh has plenty.
Yes.
But yeah, so once they're in the Enchanted Forest and everything, and it's so much of Emma. You said, Emma, just shut up, stop talking,
Shut the fuck
because
up.
there's so much of her conversation with Rumple that like it's really is like so what. Which I know he takes the potion, but it's still a case of like, what came first, chicken or the egg? She implants the idea that Snow and Charming's true love specifically is what breaks the curse.
Yep.
And even though he takes that potion, I still can't believe that like he completely forgets.
Like, did he not drink enough of it until he can keep like an inkling
I don't know. He
of what
drank
he
it,
should
and then
do?
he drank it, but like it's just it's a little bit of she needs to stop talking. But I liked the continued Back to the Future reference where the pages from the book are disappearing.
That I did like too.
That was very good. But like that I just read, they jump through so many hoops and loopholes to include multiple hooks, and using the rum as a defense that he doesn't remember her is kind of shoddy. It's entertaining, I'll give them that, but it's like he'll blame the rum on an entire woman. I did appreciate the line of "You and I both know I'm his type."
Yeah, I did like that. She was smart at that. Like, she knew what she was doing.
And it had to have been fun for Colin to kind of play a version of Hook that's allowed to kind of flirt mercilessly with her. Because and this is coming from me. Emma fondling his Hook is sexier than it needs to be.
It really is. Oh god, I don't feel weird now. I mean, I am,
No.
but still.
But I caught this detail. I really liked it when like she does that, and you can kind of see her hand. So her necklaces, because she was wearing her necklaces before, she has them wrapped around her wrist underneath the shoelace bracelet.
Oh,
So she still has them with her, no matter like everywhere, which I really like that. But then I just love his when she's trying to get him drunk, and like she says, "What's the matter, pirate? You can't hold your rum." Not only can I hold it, nose boop, because he's just
he's so cute.
He's so cute, and this is where the Raleigh Jodder comes from. Where when I accidentally say that, it comes from this because it's just too funny. And so Killian calls the dance at the ball a waltz, and based off of my musical timing abilities, it is a waltz. I was like, wait, is this? I'm like, yep, this feels like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're good. And then my last line for the first episode was, I'll give them this. The editing and the fight scene in Charming's room is very good because they cut it in a way that it almost kind of looks like Snow's head was on the stunt double's body for a second.
Oh wow.
Like it looks like Snow. It almost looks like it looks like the Snow shot from the original version.
Wow.
But just very like for the briefest second, that one was edited really, really well. So I give them that, and I like the parallels. I mean, obviously, we're going to see this is it's meant to be the same story, just an altered timeline. But so like I like how many original bits they left in the episode. So, in the next one, his line about it's all about the tumblers from the flashback was kind of stupid because we already know that Emma can pick locks from Neil. Needing that specific line, we already had what you have a home when you leave, you just miss it. We already had that through line. We didn't need that one too.
There was a lot going on. I mean, it was about the grief that she needed to process, but it was still frustrating.
One thing I love that's been this entire season is they continually have people unsheathing their swords way too close to Colin. Because David does it again, and you see him back up. Like, they really need to. Clearly, at this point, it just became a bit, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because that's multiple times this season we've seen that. And I love it. But unfortunately, this is the last time we see Red until 5/8. No, we see her a little bit earlier than 5/18, maybe 5/17.
It's just mean.
She's. But again, this was like with Catherine. Like, let's drop in these side characters that you haven't seen in years because you're going to see them in the flashbacks. So,
but she's at Granny's too. She's there. We just never see her. It bugs me that they do that. I'm so happy to see her, but then they'll be like, "See, she's still here," but then she's never there.
But actually, though, when we see her again in season 5, they're going to give a reason why we don't see her between then and now.
It's not because she went and met her wife and had beautiful little cubs. I don't want to hear it.
I plead the 5th. Oh, fuck. I can't say anything. I want to, but I can't.
And yes, I know I said wife and cubs, and that's just it's how it has to happen.
She's a werewolf. It's fine.
She's a werewolf. Maybe it's different.
Yeah. But so much of this episode is It's designed for Emma to realize that she does have a home. That's so much this episode is designed for this emotional breakthrough.
Yeah.
But like it's the fact that she had to go this far to get there.
It's some
It
pretty
just
extensive therapy. Like, come on, man.
it's a lot, but like a thesis statement that I kind of kept writing down throughout this episode specifically was this should be more emotionally satisfying, but they did too good a job of making me annoyed by these characters and their actions all season.
Mhm.
Like the moment with Emma in the cell with Marion, or later on in the vault with Killian, and she goes like this big emotional breakthrough and realizes, why she wants to stop running. This should feel more, and this is definitely a me thing. This other people have other reactions
Yeah.
to this, whatever. But this, and also with the Rumbell wedding, this should be more emotionally satisfying.
And it's not.
And it's not. And it's just unfortunate because I want it to be. I want to care about these characters the way they want me to. They've done too good a job of making me annoyed with her actions, and like it's a lot of all growth. It's a lot of fighting growth and then all growth in one episode.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like her trajectory is more satisfying because it has ups and downs, but it's
And
at a more
infuriating.
it's infuriating at times, but it's on a more like natural progression.
I meant the end of her.
Oh yeah. This part's
like
I have a thing.
that one's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like the end of this is frustrating. Is more of
Yes.
what I mean when
Yeah.
it comes to Regina's story.
Gotcha. That's more a case of how the show treats her than her own personal growth. But it's just her thing is at least more natural. Emma has a tendency to fight all growth at all costs and then get all of it at the last second.
Could that be from the trauma of not processing her emotions correctly as a child because she grew up
Probably
the way that she did without parents? Like, if you think about that, that might. Okay, I hate saying this.
No, it's okay. I play devil's advocate all the time.
But, it could be because of her upbringing. Abandonment issues, not being taught to understand her own emotions growing up, because we have to teach our children what their emotions are and what you do about these emotions, because you're going to feel them no matter what. And so now she's reached the point of adulthood, and it's just like, can't process trauma, can't process your own emotions because you've never been actually taught to do so. Don't know how to love because you didn't grow up watching your parents to see how they loved each other. She's trauma. Like, she's so traumatized. It's rewritten her brain. So this is why she's so frustrating to us, because, not the best childhood, but still, like, I have an understanding of a lot of things at my age, and you grew up, in my opinion, very well and learned a lot from your parents. Like, I'm sure your parents seem to have a happy marriage. You've learned to know some about.
Yeah.
They seem to. I mean, you're in your you're almost in your 30s and your parents are still happily together. So
as far as I can tell, yeah.
As far as we can tell. Almost in your 30s. You're not there yet.
Not there yet. We're within the 12 months where it will happen, but
yes.
By the time this comes out, it'll be almost exactly 7 months.
Nice.
This episode comes out on what, March 20 something?
I think so.
This episode comes out on March 31st, so that's exactly that's
all right.
6 months. It's 6 months and 30 days.
I'm here for that. But anyways, like I see it more so of like Emma literally cannot. She does not know how to process her emotions. So maybe that's why her pattern is different. Instead of things kind of starting to make sense little by little, she has epiphany moments instead.
Yeah. I think maybe it's the fact that it just keeps happening.
It's how she processes.
Yeah.
I defended Emma.
You did. You defended Emma.
God.
I'm proud of you.
See, we can be really, really harsh and analytical at the same time.
But like this is I think this is what happens when you analyze a show like this at our ages, where we have fully
the understanding of psychology,
fully developed brains, critical thinking skills.
It's I have to admit, it's very nice having a fully functioning prefrontal cortex.
It's real nice.
It's so nice. Things aren't as shiny, but it's nice.
This is true. You have to really work hard to find those shiny moments.
Yes.
But so Snow going after Regina, I was like, now is not the time to go after revenge, especially not when she's sitting in front of a mirror.
Right?
Like, to be fair. But then Regina says, I didn't think you'd be dumb enough to sneak into your home. Then again, I'd suppose you were dumb enough to lose it.
Yeah.
Like, she was not holding back. But then she also said, dark magic is my strong suit, not yours. I wrote down, okay, girl boss gatekeep.
Only Regina.
I get young person slang occasionally.
Skibbity toilet. I don't know what that means.
No.
What does it mean?
I don't want to know because it supposedly means different things based on context. I don't want the answer to that.
Look, I'm still trying to figure out how we got to Riz. I've learned that that's
I
charisma.
Yeah, that one makes sense. That one's at least based on language.
What? Why?
I don't know.
We young kids are worried about their charisma.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's new.
It's new. But so much of their outdoor scenes, Colin gets rained on a lot.
He's a wet emo boy.
When you look at his costumes, like during a lot of their outdoor scenes, obviously there was definitely a tarp or something over snow. Because, like, again, for safety reasons, they're not going to put the pregnant lady out in the rain.
No.
But Colin
Cold rain.
in the cart scene, or you could tell in the cart scene, and then when snow gets turned back, it's very clearly raining, and Colin is just drenched. But in the scene between him and David, when it's just them talking, and like David thinks that he doesn't know if his love's family can accept him. They're both very dry. So like, but as you can tell, but it's always his costumes. He's always the one getting rained on with other people under umbrellas.
That's so messed up. They're like, sorry, we didn't have one for you, Colin.
But it's a case of, like, in some cases it makes sense why he wouldn't have one versus another. Like his scene with Cora from the beginning of Into the Deep. It's Cora. She's gonna have an umbrella.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But it's just it's raining hard when they give the actors umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's one that I'll talk about in the beginning of 4B where it worked out stylistically that they gave everyone umbrellas. It gave the whole scene a little more like a film noir kind of thing. But like they just couldn't film without it.
Yeah.
It just there was no way of doing it, which makes it makes the whole thing kind of better. But also, Emma only getting her magic back because Lena's dead. This is why I say that it feels like it was planned from the beginning of season 4, not the end of season 3. Because that doesn't make sense if she's not dead.
Yeah.
So that's
I'll
another
know more
case.
soon.
You'll know more you'll know more by the end of season 4, but it's a case of like, this is more things why I'm like, this is why it feels like her coming back was the plan for the beginning of season 4. Because also means contracts and things take time to kind of like, there's time to make sure it works for her schedule. But it just doesn't work out so great. So I said all my stuff about Captain Swan and all that. So the bringing Marion thing. I'm gonna read what I wrote because I think I wrote it very smartly. We'll see how this goes. I'm continuing on with my thing that Regina is a reactionary villain. She lives in a world that even when she tries to be good, the universe just throws it all back in her face, saying she isn't owed what everyone else is. I understand that the point of good is not to get things, but just to be good. But I don't disagree that it's a nice thing to have every once in a while. So she finally gets what she's been waiting for basically her entire life, love and a family, and that's ruined by Emma, much like it was ruined by Snow the first time. She backtracks. We'll see a little bit briefly in the beginning of season 4, but she's brought back by Henry. But she slides back despite the fact that the characters have forgiven her and believe she can do good. It feels like the writers are still testing her.
Yeah.
And will continue to test her until the end of the show, basically. Like, she continues to be their punching bag, despite the fact that they're writing characters who have forgiven her, but they keep dumping all this stuff on her. And I just don't get it.
Like, I wrote it. The second thing I wrote was let her stay happy.
Nope.
Like, please. And then they do this shit.
I will say this: Robin does the best he can with the situation. Like, we'll see in the beginning in the beginning of season 4, he does the best he can.
Okay.
But we'll see what happens. That's all I can say.
What do you do when your wife shows up and you're shacking up with
like
your soulmate? Like,
exactly.
Keep in mind, this isn't just like maybe that's why I'm so angry. This isn't just somebody that she's like, oh, I've got a fling. I think I'm falling in love with him. This is going down to the magic that is supposed to be her soulmate. What do you mean the wife is back? Like,
well, it goes back to what he says at the beginning: is sometimes it's all about timing. Because it's also it's a case of thing of like, their soulmate, the whole thing. Because also, I mean, this is my thing with, like, I say that reason why Regina can have another true love is because her life moves forward. So it's Robin's a soulmate for a different point in time in her life than Daniel was. But that time that she found out he was her soulmate was before he met Marion.
Yep, that was before then.
But also, it's still with what we saw of Marion, Robin blaming himself for her death continues to not make any sense. We never get any like fruition of that line because all we know is that Marion got captured because she wouldn't give up Snow's location.
Yeah.
And then that happens. So it's him blaming himself doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
by
We
not
never,
being
we
there
just,
because it looks like he's not there.
I guess that maybe that's why he blames himself. We just never see that. So
If they're going that right,
that's,
that could be a situation of like him and the kid weren't there. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, yeah, I see that. All right. So, did you make them both the same score or is one
They
different?
are both the same score.
Okay. So what did you score our season 3 finale?
29
Okay.
for both. So
Interesting.
it's 29 across the board.
Okay.
Both the same. Character personal or both 10s. Because personally, I really love it. Character
Mm-hmm.
wise, I think the characters are amazing. They all do the job they're supposed to. I took the point off for plot.
Okay.
Paradox.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Paradox.
My score is very different.
I know it's going to be, but I really, really enjoyed this. Like, I
No, it's
really,
fair.
really was so happy with this. Like, from the way we started to the way
Mhm.
this ended, thank
Mhm.
fuck. Or we'd be watching another show because
No, yeah.
can you imagine trying to keep going if the whole season was Peter Pan? I'd be like,
If
what am I
that was the
doing?
case, I wouldn't have even made you watch the show, honestly. So my score is not that.
Not that.
Because there's parts of things that I have a hard time letting
Yeah.
go. But so I gave plot gets a 9. It still gets a 9. Character gets a 6. Personal gets a 7.
Ooh,
Our season 3
okay.
finale gets a 22 out of 30, and I'll go. So the Emma thing, I get the trauma conversation we had.
Yeah.
It still bothers me,
That's fine.
and personally, the timeline thing, the time travel thing being paradoxes, I don't like. Mainly, so the character thing is mainly Emma's trajectory. We're destroying Regina's happiness for fun, basically. But ultimately, what I dislike about this finale predominantly is because they rewrote an entire episode on purpose. I don't fucking get it.
Oh, okay. I like this.
I genuinely I obviously time travel makes sense, but like it's and maybe this is very much a personal thing. I get
Mhm.
this. All of this is personal. Our numbers are a numerical, representation of how we feel, basically.
Yeah.
It's a numerical representation of our feelings. And maybe it's because Snowdrifts is an episode that I personally love. That was always one, at least for this first part of the season. Snowfalls was always one of my favorite episodes. Like, if I look at what score I gave it,
It's really good. It's a really good episode.
Snowfalls got a 28.
Which one? What's season 1?
That's 103.
Snowfalls. I gave 26.
Okay, so like, but for me, that's one of it's a very high scoring episode. It's an episode that I personally love, and it's the fact of they completely altered and rewrote an episode of their show on
Ooh.
purpose.
It's like,
And
why would you do that?
I don't get it. Especially without it having the ripple effect of changing things going forward. It's the fact of this little pocket of time is fundamentally changed, but nothing else is.
But what a paradox like that could cause
It's the fact of like their memories get changed, the book gets changed. That's how I think they think in their minds they've solved the paradox, is like everyone's memories are altered, but like because it starts and ends in the same place that it was supposed to, everything's okay. That's the justification I'm giving it. But
like
it personally makes me mad.
But also makes it really hard as a writer.
Yeah.
Because then every time you write something, you have to make sure that is in relation to that moment, since they don't want to realize that there would be a ripple effect, no matter like them stepping onto a certain road could cause a ripple effect due to footprints. Like there's so many things that could go wrong that you just don't want to. Every fantasy show out there ends up with some form of time travel. They all
does. I am aware that it's a trope, and like I give the writers a lot of grace. This show is a soap opera. I give the writers a lot of grace. This is one of the places where, for whatever reason, I just can't.
Yeah, no, I can't.
I feel like with these kinds of things where like I play a lot of devil's advocate and I do a lot of these finding the nuance of situations. There are some times where I'm just like, no, I don't like it.
But you're going to be really happy because we're going into season 4. So
yeah,
it's
we're going
to give it a take. You're like, I hate that I'm watching this and I'm mad at it, but
here's the thing: is like, for as much as I love, and this episode won't be as long as our other finales because there's no commentary. Because originally I thought there was going to be commentary for the finale, but it turned out that was a Blu-ray exclusive, not a DVD availability. I'll be honest, I was happy that I didn't have to watch 322 again.
That's good though. That like you had a happy moment, right?
I had a happy moment, and like its thing is like season 4 turns into a season that I love more and more that I watch it, weirdly enough. Like, the more times I watch it, and
Mhm.
we'll talk about this as we get into it, but it's an episode that I love. It's a season that I love more and more as I watch it.
Okay.
And so it's a give, it's like I said, it's a give and take of like, this we had with season 3, high highs, low lows, going into a season that I think is actually very, very good. That is contentious amongst the fandom because not a lot of
Mhm.
people like the Frozen arc, but they're
Okay, well,
they're
everybody seems to love the Peter Pan arc and we didn't. So
exactly. So that's where I'm at with this. But before we close this out, we always do our superlatives for the end of the season.
yes.
So we'll do three favorite parts, 3 least favorite parts, and 3 things you're hoping to see in season 4. So start with 3 favorites.
Okay, 3 favorites. I really loved watching Regina's arc in this, even
Mm-hmm.
though they just ruined it.
Mm-hmm.
Really loved seeing her growth, her snarkiness, everything. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was really great. It was really fun watching Henry grow up.
Yeah.
Like, you can see that he's getting older and it's really cute,
Mm-hmm.
it's really sweet, but he's
Yeah.
getting like, he actually is a really good actor. He's a kid,
Yeah.
so it's kids
He's learning.
acting, but you see him grow with his acting skills in this as well. Like,
Mm-hmm. He's learning.
he does a great job. Favorites.
Got one more.
One more. Obviously, I fell in love with Tinkerbell apparently in this, which I did not
Unfortunately for you.
expect. Like, to the point I'm now on like the 3rd show that she's
Mm-hmm.
seriously done.
Yeah.
To the point I'm about to go find everything that this actress
Mm-hmm.
has done, and I'm just like, yep, that's me. I get attached to actresses and can't let go. So those are my 3 favorites.
All right, I'll do mine. That you can start thinking.
Thank you.
All right. So for me, the baby Henry flashbacks in 309, I just they get me every time. It's a lot of Regina's growth, but it's so sweet because it's a moment that everyone wanted to see. And to be fair, everyone wanted to see a moment of him as a small child that could, talk and love his mother, and we didn't see that, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about it at all. It's fine. Selena in general, as she's a walking plot hole, but I love her, and she, much like your love with Rose, it kind of unlocked a love of Bex, and like I haven't gone as far as watching like everything she's done, but I've definitely gone and
I
watched
haven't
a lot
watched
of things.
everything.
But like you've watched more, like I would say you've definitely watched more of Rose's work than I've tried to watch of Bex's work. I'll be quite
That's
honest,
fair.
because like to be fair, like for long running stuff that she's done though, I mean that would require me to basically try and watch Lost, and I don't feel like it.
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough
So
one.
it is a tough one, but it unlocked a love of that actor for me, and she's delightful and she's chaotic, and it. We have Zelina to thank for this voice, so you're welcome. Which ironically is a voice that I'll kind of be using for an audiobook soon. Fun. Okay. Is this is essentially Morgan, basically. Basically.
Basically.
I'm going to be narrating half an audiobook with this voice. Oh joy. I realized. What I realized, unfortunately for me, and I decided this months and months and months ago. For the 2 characters, by the time this comes out, say it out loud, the extended version will almost be out. It'll be like a month out because this is going out like right after the winter, after fall comes down.
Okay.
So if you're hearing this when it comes out, my book Say It Out Loud will be out at the end of April. Buy it. You hear me narrate it too, and it's Dragon Shifter Sapphic Chaos. That's all you need to know.
And Katie's making the cover.
Katie's making the cover.
It's a joint project, right?
It is. I mean, you're now my cover designer. But I decided this months and months and months ago. The vocal notes I wanted for these 2 characters that I thought made the most sense. So Morgan was kind of like this, a little bit Zelina coded, sort of soft British accent, RP, however you want to consider this. And then Hilly is more along the line of, and hang on, I'm going to mute myself so you can't hear the thing I use to get into the voice because it's going to ruin it. So this is the voice that I tend to use for Hilly, more or less, kind of. And here's the thing. In my mind, the voices are Zelina coded and Rose McIver in Ghosts kind of coded. You know who else they sound like? Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
It does. Sorry, do you see my face right now?
Yes, I do. I do. But that's so in my
so hard to hold back.
I decided this months ago that's what the voices I was going to use. But unfortunately for me, that's who I ended up with.
That made my whole day.
So
I am not wearing waterproof.
I'm putting this on the record. When the audiobook comes out, those character voices were planned months before Wicked stuff ever happened. Like, I'm talking like I decided this like
Amazing.
early 2024.
Oh, that is freaking hilarious. Oh, I'm in love. Anyways, so
But like
was that your 3?
that was my 3. Oh no, sorry,
Okay.
I still have one more. And it's just Regina being happy, if brief.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. So what are your 3 least favorite things from season 3?
One would be just Emma pissing me off constantly.
Fair.
Emma's character alone, just across the season, just pisses you off all the time. Like, she spends the entire season like, I'm Henry's mother. I'm doing that. It's just she comes in thinking she's all in charge, and I'm like, I don't like you. Stop doing that. 2 would be Peter Pan being
In
Rumple's
general?
father. In
Okay.
general, but also like very specifically him being Rumple's father.
Yeah.
It was the most underwhelming moment of
Mhm.
this show. 100%. Did not like that.
For me, it's the jump the shark moment.
Yeah,
Like, and
it
like
is.
it's a shame that happens so early in the show, but I think they do a good job of making up for it. I also agree. This might be the lowest point of the whole show.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere to go but up.
And then 3rd would be Belle marrying Rumple.
I had a feeling.
That's my 3rd. Belle marrying Rumple because I thought I had more time.
Yeah.
Nope, that was
So
a very short engagement.
yes, it was. So Pam being Rumple's father is also on my list, because it's not needed. I think it makes his character motivations even less deep than they already were.
Mhm.
Um, how poorly structured that arc is, because I'm very happy though that I got confirmation that it's not just my personal bias. Like, going through that arc with you and seeing it through your eyes as well
It's
helped me see that it's just fundamentally missing a lot of things that other arcs tend to have.
oh yeah.
So it's not just my personal bias, there is something missing. And then my last one is Hook starting to turn into that lovesick puppy for Emma for most of the season.
Ah,
It just is, I don't like it. So what are 3 things you hope to see in season 4?
Regina attain happiness again,
Mhm.
which there's a lot of episodes. There's time.
Mhm.
There's possibility.
Yep.
She's already heartbroken as it is.
Mhm.
So I want her to continue to grow. I want her to get happiness. I also hope to see Regina put Emma in her fucking place. Truly.
No, that's fair.
Because and I want Regina to do it specifically, or Henry.
Mhm.
Henry or Regina need to put Emma in her place because she also continues to piss me off with that whole dynamic when it comes to Henry
Mhm.
and Regina.
Yeah.
Because I don't care. I don't care that we have this whole backstory of Enchanted Forest, of who's parent, any of that. Yes, what Regina did was during a curse and it was fucked up that she did all those things, but she raised Henry at the end of the day. So I do hope to see Emma finally just admit that,
Mhm.
please.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just excited to see who we're gonna see. Like
Yeah. No, it's fair.
I know the Frozen arc is next,
Mhm.
obviously, and I had my daughter during the Frozen craze. Like,
Okay.
and I used to work in like a daycare where I would take Autumn with me.
Mhm.
So while pregnant and while of course having an infant, I watched Frozen I think a good 500 times
Nah, that's fair.
because I was working in childcare at the time, and
Mhm.
there is no getting away from watching that movie over whatever movie the kids that Disney has put out at that time, the kids have
Mhm.
attached themselves to. That's all you're going to see. So I'm very educated in the world of Arendelle and
Mhm.
Elsa and Anna. So I'm very excited to actually see that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I don't remember what the second arc is, but that's okay. But
Don't worry, I'll remind you.
I
Um,
know you will.
I'm excited for you to see Regina get her happiness,
Good.
both through finding it with Henry and through Robin. So, like I say, Robin does the best he can, and there's gonna be ups and downs. Nothing,
Hmm.
worth having isn't without fighting. But it's good to see her happy and to be able
Okay.
to accept that happiness for once. Uh, so along with the Frozen arc, this was always my thing with the Frozen arc was like but Frozen's not the original story, but it's the Snow Queen is. The Snow Queen is who you're going to see in the first part. Um,
Okay.
played by the ever so wonderful Elizabeth Mitchell, who I've already started pulling interviews. Like, I was prepping for this episode and I kept seeing stuff of her in my recommendations. I was like, what if I started watching this instead? This is more interesting. Because she's such a delight to see on the show as Ingrid. The way she slots on the story works so well. Her chemistry with the actors that she gets to play with works so well. She's just fun to watch, and you can tell she's enjoying herself, which is like because she's gonna be one of those villains that she's got such a quiet power.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's gonna be toe to toe with Rumple at one point, and she's gonna feel like she's all powerful, and she's gonna say while whispering to him, I can basically like something along the lines of like, I can tear you down with a snap of my finger and decorate this cave with your bones. Shall I try? She says it so quietly and so like soft. It's just she's just such a menacing power. I have my gripes with everything like I always do, and all nothing,
Mm-hmm.
I love is not without, analyzing, but at the same time, she's just so much fun to watch and so
Okay.
heartbreaking at the same time. So she's gonna be a lot of fun. And then 4B is our Queens of Darkness.
Okay.
So more specifically, I'm excited for you to see Cruella de Vil because holy
See, that's
fucking
who
shit.
I'm excited for. I
You're
love
very excited
Cruella.
for Cruella de Vil, but you're gonna have Cruella, Ursula, and the return of Maleficent.
Ooh, okay.
Exactly.
Like none of this
So
sounds bad. Like this all sounds good.
no, I'm so excited because the Queens of Darkness arc and like everything. I'm gonna hold my critiques. I love the season as a whole. That's gonna be the thesis statement of our whole season going forward. Is despite how I went into season 3, helping you mitigate your expectations.
This time you're just like, this is really cool stuff coming.
It's fun, and especially because I've now been able to, especially with the Frozen arc, I've been able to kind of remove myself from the ideology that they clearly did it as a money grab because this was the soonest they could possibly do the Frozen arc. Like Frozen came out fall of 2013. This arc is fall of 2014. Like this is the soonest they could include it.
Which is definitely dead on because I had my child May of 2014.
Exactly.
So that is dead on.
Removing myself from that because without that, I just enjoy the story for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so much more fun with it. And we're so close to one of the best episodes of the show.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We're so close. And it's the line that I said before when I first met her, she hit me in the face. It's in that episode. And that's an episode that for how much I've done of the memorizing, I think I know all of Snow's lines.
Oh my God.
In that episode. I can't tell you what it is because it won't make any sense, but it's so good.
I think you've forgotten something.
Have I forgot?
We have
have I forgot?
stats for the whole season.
Oh, we do have stats for the whole season. You're right.
We have season 3 stats.
We do have season 3 stats.
I remembered numbers, and Lauren didn't.
I was going on my rant about season 4. So let's start, I guess. Let's do the categories first and then the totals.
Yeah.
So what's your average character score?
Character is 8.3.
Okay, my score is not that. My score is 7.81.
And then what are we doing next?
Plot. Do plot.
Plot is 8.09.
Okay, so mine is actually higher. Mine's 8.45.
And then personal is 8.22.
Oh, mine's 7.2. It's off by an entire point. So what's your average total score?
24.6.
It is higher than mine by a whole fucking point. Mine's 23.5.
That is hilarious.
So yeah, so my average total score compared to season 1, so it's 23.5 for season 3.
Uh-huh.
Season 1 is 25.4. And season 2 is 24.09. So like I said, like really high scores and a lot of really low scores all comes out to be just kind of be okay. I think next season the average score is going to go up, at least for me. I know it's going to go up.
Just looking at a nice blank. There's something about seeing a nice blank. Like it's really, really, it's like a dopamine hit of watching us when you finish one and then you get to open a new one and you're like, all right, here's the empty spreadsheet. It's so much fun.
I know. And especially because, and we say this all the time with like the difference between the once finales and the Bob's ones is the Bob's ones come out more frequently. So it not that it feels like less of a milestone, but it kind of does because we get 4 of them a year versus it takes us 6 months to get through a season of Once Upon a Time.
So we'll be doing this again in the summer. Like,
yeah, no, exactly. We'll be doing this again probably in June or July. And yeah, welcome to the chaos. And we get to. So Krilla's another fun British accent because she's. We're waiting a while to see her, but we have the ever delightful. I'm just a really terrible person.
I can't wait. Oh my
I
god.
love I love her because her voice is harder. Her voice is like way deeper, so it's like all the way down here and like, hello, darling.
I like it. Makes sense.
She's a lot of fun.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Bob's Burgers Season 7, Episode 13, The Grand Mama Pest Hotel, and Episode 14, Aquaticism. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link for more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Lauren and Katie and edited by Lauren.